Hello, hello, hello. Hi, everyone. Happy Monday. Thank you for joining me today. My name is Andrea Wilson. If this is your first time joining me, and in the past, I usually would come on live every Monday, bringing you your real estate market update. And so that time was at 7:30 in the morning. And now that we're at back to school, I'm having a little hard time trying to adjust or get a feel for my new schedule. So please bear with me as I work through this to be able to provide a consistent time that I jump on here. But for now, I will definitely be on here on Mondays, sharing with you guys some updates about what's going on in the real estate market. And so I first wanted to dive in something that popped up towards the end of last week. I want to talk with you about this and how this pandemic is affecting the real estate industry. As you know, inventory is still low. Many buyers are having a hard time securing a place that they want to move into because of multiple offers that are happening on a property, $10,000, $20,000 over the asking price, and still losing it in some cases. But it's getting really interesting on the commercial side of things. So, if you own a business and you're thinking about stepping out and maybe looking for some commercial space, what we're seeing with a lot of these retailers, and as we started to go into this process with the pandemic, a lot of people were concerned about the housing market and how this was all going to play out. And we've been seeing actually it become more positive, especially for sellers, because they're seeing more equity, the increase in values in their homes. But on the flip side of that commercial side, they're actually really taking a hard hit on the commercial side, because if you think about it, some retailers still have not even have not even opened up since the pandemic, just because they haven't quite figured out how to operate under the new state guidelines for what they are right now. Some folks have employees who are concerned about going back into work. So in many cases, retailers have decided we're never going to open up. We've seen that with a lot of restaurants where that was happening. And then one big one that was just announced is the IX Center. The IX Center has been a staple here in the Cleveland market for many, many years. I'm not even sure how long that it has been open, but they are another group or another organization that has been hit really hard from this pandemic. And so I was just thinking about that space. I know that it's a very large space. It's out by the airport. So obviously the airport, that might be an option for them for another airline to come in to maybe move into that space, maybe become a hangar for them. But I was also thinking about, I wonder what it could be zoned for in terms of maybe office space or something like that. So we've been talking about the residential market a lot, but we really haven't talked about much of how the pandemic is really affecting the commercial market. And it's going to be quite interesting between now and the end of the year to see how many more spaces. I know shopping malls, they're having a hard time as well, because a lot of retailers are just going out of business because they're not seeing the number of sales. And I want to bring this to your attention because oftentimes we always think like, oh, we need space, we need space, we need a retail space. And it may not be needed. Just people have learned how to shift and maneuver, and have decided that they can do a lot of things virtually, sell online. And if you are thinking that you actually need some space, maybe you have to start looking at a much smaller space that you actually planned on initially. Stores like Forever 21, if you are familiar with that, I read an article on them where they usually have a pretty large space in a lot of the malls around America, and they have actually gone in and started to downsize as they are seeing some struggles on the verge of potentially closing themselves. But they've decided to take on in many malls some smaller space. That way they can still have a presence in the mall, focus on some online sales, and reducing, their monthly expenses. just something to think about. I work with a lot of entrepreneurs. If you already even have a space, trying to figure out if you have coming up on a lease renewal, figuring out how to work that out. Hotels. I know a lot of people who were doing seminars in hotel spaces. The hotels are taking a hit, not allowing people to get out of those contracts because people can't host these seminars as they were because of social distancing requirements. If you want to host some seminars or events in a hotel space, probably now is a good time to negotiate with some of those hotels as well, because they're not having as many people come in. So maybe they're willing to work with you in terms of that. So that's my tip on kind of like what's going on in the housing market. I do also want to talk about real estate investing. If you are a first time real estate investor, I love speaking with you guys, help giving you some guidance. If you're thinking about getting into that space of investing in real estate, you want to make sure you have a mentor, someone that you can talk to before just kind of diving in. There's a lot going on. I know a lot of people spend money trying to work or get information from gurus, still do not even invest in real estate. So we provide a lot of information. Also, Mark and I, if you can see this, have wrote an ebook. We actually wrote this ebook just prior or at the beginning of the year prior to COVID-19 hitting. And so we didn't really market it as much as we had liked to, just because everything was going on and we had to shift some things around. But it provides a lot of information in here for you guys. And one of the things that I want to talk about that's not utilized enough would be a 1031 tax deferred exchange. It kind of gives a breakdown of what that is in here. But it is a tax law that allows you to purchase property, fix it, flip it, and then avoid paying taxes by rolling it into your like property. That is a underlies use tool that people do not take advantage of. One of the things that happens that are why people don't tap into it is because when you have to acknowledge or make it clear that you're going to roll into a tax 31 exchange. So if you're selling your property at that time, the title company that you're working with, you have to notify them so they know how to properly handle the paperwork on that end. And then they will know that you're going to roll that right into that next property. When you use that tax exchange, there's a short window. There's like a 90-day window that you have to purchase another property that is like the property that you just sold. So you can do your fix and flips. So usually when you collect or you sell that property, there's some capital gains that happens. And again, I'm not an accountant, I'm not a CPA, I'm not an attorney. So for everyone's tax situation is a little bit different. A 1031 exchange may not be right for you. It could be, but this is definitely something that you want to reach out to your accountant to ask them how to maneuver through this. And it may be just you needing to bring it up to them because they may not necessarily know. And when you are looking for an accountant, try to find an accountant that is experienced in the area of real estate. Just like a doctor, you go to a doctor when you have a back problem, you want a special doctor. When you have, problems in every area, you're going to go to a specialist. Same thing with an accountant or attorney. There's accountants and attorneys that specialize in certain areas. Yes, they can do it all, but usually someone that's doing it all, they're not versed in all of the changes that happen in this. So you want to find you a CPA, an attorney if you're working with an attorney that specializes in the area of real estate. So that 1031 exchange, it allows you to defer those taxes and not realize that capital gains when you sell that initial property. It allows you to roll into another property and save you tons of money by doing that. The key to it is making sure that you have notified either the agent you're working with, but ultimately that title company. In Ohio here, we use title companies. We don't use an attorney for our closes. The title company will have a attorney in-house, but we use title companies here. It's maybe in more southern Ohio, you may see more attorneys involved in, but in some other states, I know you guys are using attorneys for your closing. So title company or the attorney that's handling the close on your property, you have to let them know as soon as possible before selling that property so they know how to handle the paperwork. So again, it talks about that in this ebook, which I happen to have printed. Lots of information in here. This is going to get you started. You're wondering where to start at in terms of investing in real estate. This is how you can do that. I will provide the link here where you can purchase a copy of your ebook. It's $19.99. Is what is being offered at right now, but it will get you lots of information. Also, you want to make sure that you schedule a 15-minute phone call consultation with me so we can have a further conversation as to next step where you need to go. All right. Thank you for joining me, you guys. I look forward to hearing from you guys. If you have any questions, shoot me a DM or go ahead and schedule that 15-minute phone consultation. I'm going to work on a scheduled time on Monday. I'm still, like I said, I'm still working on getting a feel for this new schedule, especially for especially now that school has started back. And Joe, I see your message here. You're looking for a music studio. I will send you a message to kind of get a better understanding of price points and everything and locations. So, all right, guys, have a good day. Thank you for joining me. And this is your Monday Market Update. If you're not already, subscribe or like to my channel. I appreciate it and have a wonderful day.